What's up, insurance agents? Let me ask you something. Are you building a real future for yourself in this business, or are you living just surviving, app to app, enrollment by enrollment, just get by? Do you feel like you have more to offer, but you're not quite reaching that full potential? You hit that wall or that ceiling. Well, let me ask you this. What's holding you back? What's stopping you from getting there? If any of this is driving home to you or hitting you in the stomach, then today is a must-see video, because I'm going to introduce to you someone that you have to meet. This is a must-see. Someone who's an absolute powerhouse in this business. His agency has over 1,000 agents. Yes, over 1,000 downline agents. Now, I know you've probably seen interviews with other agency directors where they have 50, 100, 200, and they talking about that. That's great. But this person has over 1,000 downline agents. He's one of only three FMOs for Blue Cross Blue Shield in the entire state of Tennessee. He's an integrity partner. His agency produces over 15,000 apps per year. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Mr. Eric Allen of Allen and Associates, my friend and my mentor in this business. Eric,
how you doing, Johnson?
man, I'm doing all right, man.
Good to be here, brother.
Man, it's good to have you here, man. It really is. A lot of people need to hear what you have to say, man. You've been in this business for a long time, and you have a very interesting upstart story. A lot of people will say it's even storybook. You came from small town Mississippi where it wasn't a whole lot to offer. From small town Mississippi to multi-millionaire. Tell us about that.
Well, let me say this first. You sound like you gave me one of those Steve Harvey introductions. You're pretty good at that, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I've been watching a lot of videos.
Yeah. You keep it up. You're pretty good. But it's been a long time coming, Johnson. I've been in the business, man, for a long time now. 32 years, to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
I got started in 1994. As you mentioned, I'm from Mississippi. I'm from Greenwood, Mississippi. I like the slogan, I was country before country was cool. But again, so let me just tell you a little about my background. Of course, I came from the country, from the Delta. Even in high school, as I reflect back on school, I wasn't a studious person. I was an average, maybe below average person. I had somewhat of a learning disability. I had a speech impediment that I'm still dealing with to this day.
I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So the odds were stacked against me. And again, from a very young age, because I wasn't studious, I just never had that pushed on me. I grew up in a single parent household, so I didn't have a father figure around. And so I knew from an early age that once I got out of high school, that was it for me. I had no plans on going to college. Now, having said that, I still wanted to do something that was impactful, but I knew college wasn't the route. So when I got out of high school, of course, I had to start working. And eventually I landed a factory job there in my hometown. And I absolutely hated it. I mean, I worked there for 2 years, and it was the miserable time of my life. And, being at that factory and seeing all these people that had been there for 5, 10, 15, some even 30 years, and looking at their life, and it was good people, but just looking at them, a lot of them were just broke down, had a lot of, been working 30 years and still was below poverty level. And I said to myself, this can't be my future. There's just no way that this could be my future. I wake up every morning, I was miserable. And so one day, one of my work associates, he knew my situation. He knew I just didn't like that job. So he said, Eric, my insurance agent was he was a manager. This insurance guy was a manager. He said, my insurance agent is looking for somebody to take over his district. And I had no plans on selling insurance. I mean, insurance, that's not the career that most people desire to go into.
Exactly.
But I hated that job so much, Johnson, that anything would do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to make a long story short, I applied for the job. They were in desperate need, so they hired me. And that's how I got into the insurance business in 1994. Going door to door, collecting premium, as well as selling insurance. That's the foundation of my career.
Okay, so on that journey, you already had the mindset. You knew what wasn't gonna work for you. So you tried this. Now you going door to door. I know you had a lot of obstacles on that. Did you ever feel like giving up? Did you ever hit that wall when you were on the come up?
Yes. Now, when I first started, and again, I'm coming from this environment where you was micromanaged. So you was working around hundreds of people in a factory, on a factory line. You had a manager, you had a supervisor, and so you pretty much was micromanaged. So I'm coming out that environment. Okay, so that alone was liberating. The fact that now I got my freedom.
Exactly.
I got my freedom. And of course, I wasn't making much money in the insurance business then, but the fact that I had that freedom, my time, that was a big advantage for me.
Exactly.
And so, but because of that, again, at that time, my mindset is that I made it now. I got my own time. I can do what I want to do. I can go out here and make money. And so to answer that question, I hit the wall, but I hit the wall for the wrong reason. I hit the wall, the financial wall. I got to the point where I wasn't working like I should have been working, and therefore I wasn't making the money.
Because you had that freedom.
I had that freedom.
Yeah, because sometimes too much freedom, if you're not structured, that can be your enemy. It can be your best friend and your worst enemy if you don't do it right.
Absolutely.
So what did you do there?
Well, at the time, we hear the saying, if you work for yourself, you should work more hours for yourself than you do somebody else. I didn't get that memo back then. I really didn't. So it was just the opposite. I was working a couple of hours a day. And so because of that, again, I hit the wall financially. I began to struggle. Financially. And so, but at the same time, I still liked what I was doing. And what I did do, I started blaming, I'm not making enough money because of my supervisor. I'm not making enough money because of these people that I'm out here servicing. I was blaming everybody except myself. And, I heard somebody say one time that, when we buy something, we like to buy something with a warranty attached to it. So if it doesn't work, we can take it back. But we never put a warranty on ourselves.
Wow.
We never put a warranty on ourselves that when we're not working, what are we going to do?
Exactly.
And so I had to come to realization with myself, and I did so not at the current mindset that I had then, but I had to learn a different mindset for me to accept the responsibility that what happened in my life, what was going on at that particular time, I was where I were because of my action. And so I went to a seminar, one of the best things that anybody can do, self-development. I went to this seminar, and I heard this person say about in order to get from level A to level B or level C, you got to change the way you think. And the best way to change the way you think is start reading different material. Put yourself in a different environment. And so that's what I did. The first book that I read was a book that from the author was Keith Harrell. And the title of that book was Attitude is Everything. And that's exactly what I needed, because I needed attitude change. Because, attitude in this business right here, as you know, going to take you as far as, the type of attitude that you have.
Right. I think it's an old saying as, what is it? Your attitude determines your altitude or something like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you touched on one thing I want to kind of expound on. I want you to expound on it. The big takeaway I got from what you just mentioned is accountability.
Absolutely.
You had to take accountability for what you were doing. You said that you were at the point where you were blaming everybody else, blaming your manager, blaming the leads, this, that, and the other. But you had to take a real hard look in the mirror and look at what you were doing. That's strong, man. And then it changed your mindset. So when you started doing that and started reading these books and started looking in the mirror, what are some of the things that you had to change with the way you were thinking to get you out of that rut that you were in?
Well, that first book that I just mentioned, Attitude is Everything, changed. It got me starting to think differently.
Okay.
It was the beginning. It wasn't the end, of course. I still had a lot of growing to do.
Okay.
But it was that seed that was planted that, okay, I need to start changing my mindset. And I think that is the key. That, to me, that is one of the biggest singular keys to success, that you got to change your mindset. You know, I always think of a person. This is a principle, of course, but you take someone that's a professional athlete, you give them a multi-million-dollar contract. We see it so often, but statistics show that most of these young guys that go pro, they make all this money. After 5 years of leaving their profession, they end up broke. And we know the reason why, because they didn't change their mindset. You take a 20-year-old kid, 20, 21, 22-year-old kid, and you give this kid millions of dollars. He's never been trained to handle that. He's never been trained to handle that. What do you expect to happen?
You see that story with lottery winners all the time.
There you go. It's no different. So the mindset has to change. It's just like a seed. You could get a seed, and that seed could be planted in a rocky soil, the most horrible soil. Will that seed ever grow?
Not at all.
No. But you take that same seed and put it in more fertile ground, water it, give it sunlight, that seed is going to sprout. And so it's no different. That seed is us. That seed is our mind. Once we take our mind and put it in another environment that's conducive to growth, that's when we start growing as a person.
So what type of mindset, because there's a lot of agents out there that's looking at this right now, and they probably saying whatever they saying, but based on your years of experience, and you kind of already answered it a little bit, but on average, what has been the real reason, what has been the mind frame, what's the common denominator mindset of the agent that is stuck, that's not succeeding, that's not making the money in this industry?
Well, again, self-accountability, negative thinking. And so you look at the environment they're in. You look at what they feed themselves. You know, there's a saying, what entertained us, trained us. Wow. So you look at their entertainment. Look at, most people are stuck to the news. What's on the news?
Negativity all day.
That's it. When most people get in their car, what do? They turn on the radio. There's nothing wrong with music. But again, they never give themselves an opportunity to feed their mind positive things. And so, again, that book, Attitude is Everything, is what planted the seed. Okay, I need to start reading more. We had audio cassette back then, so in my car, I would pop in these audio cassette, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, and Jim Rohn, which is one of my favorites. But I began to absorb myself into these things. And so over time, it didn't change overnight, because I'm still a work in progress too, but over time, the way I looked at things, the way I perceived things began to change. Exactly. I heard somebody say once before, and I'm gonna ask you this question too. Okay. If you got a fish in a fish bowl, and that fish is sick, how do you treat the fish?
Interesting. How do you treat the sick fish?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I would just take the fish out and just get a new fish. Because he's probably dead if he's my fish.
Well, think of it this way. You don't treat the fish, you treat the water. You change the water.
Change the water. You take the fish out and you clean that tank.
Yes.
Right.
You change the environment that the fish is living in. Yeah.
Exactly.
And, again, on my quest to figuring this all out, I realized that most successful people, they got certain things in common.
Mm-hmm.
And reading is one of them. Yeah. Most successful CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies, I read an article once before, most of these CEOs read from 50 to 60 books a year.
Mm.
Bill Gates said he read 50 books minimum a year.
I heard that.
And so when I heard that, when I read that, realistically, I'm thinking in my mind, there's no way in the world I'm reading 50 books a year.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can't read one book a month. I can't read 12 books a year.
Right.
And so that's what I started doing. Now, again, I told you the first book I read, but I also read a book that I recommend everybody, I mean, absolutely everybody read, and that's As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Mm-hmm.
At the most, it's about an hour read. At the most. Very short book.
Okay.
As a Man Thinketh. And I think that book, the title of that book was is scriptural. It was based on Proverbs 23 verse 7. As a man thinketh, he would be, something to that nature. And so I would strongly recommend that book to be read by everybody. I think Napoleon Hill in 1937, he came back and wrote
Think Rich, Grow Rich.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And
I got that book back there actually.
okay, and it's interesting that that book, I don't know how much research you've done on that book, but Napoleon Hill, what he did, he studied 500 richest men in this country.
Mm-hmm.
What's this still Andrew Carnegie,
Mm-hmm.
Henry Ford, Alexander Graham Bell, Theodore Roosevelt. These are people he studied. And when in his study, he wanted to see what did they have in common. What was it that made these people different? How did they become the titans of this country?
Mm-hmm.
And in his study, he found common similarity. They had definite purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They had strong desire. They continued to learn. They was always learning. And what struck me is that they was quick to make decisions.
Right.
They weren't procrastinators. So they was quick to make the decision, and they had self-discipline about themselves.
Exactly.
And so, my thing was, okay, I need to change my mindset. I need to change my habit. I need to do things differently. And so that's what I set out to do.
All right. So it's interesting that you said you change your habits and your mindset. So you mentioned earlier in the interview that we talked a little bit about freedom, and we talked about how that freedom worked against you. Talk about some of the work ethic that it takes to go into this. What have you seen some agents do wrong when it comes down to work ethic and things of that nature?
Good question, and I'm glad we're having this conversation too,
Mm-hmm.
Johnson. There was a study that was put out maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. If you ask ChatGPT how many hours do an insurance agent work, it's going to tell you the correct answer between 40 and 50 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That is simply not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There was a study that was done, and it was based on real studies, real example of agents being honest.
Right.
And most agents work about 10 hours a week.
Wow.
About 10 hours a week. There is no way in the world.
That's 2 hours a day. But that's what you said you were doing in the beginning. And you failed. That's 2 hours a day.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way in the world you can work 2 hours a day or 10 hours a week and be successful.
Right. That's like one appointment a day.
If that.
Yeah.
And most people roll out of bed at 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, and by the time they get to doing what they need to do is 12 and 1 o'clock in the evening.
And you'll be surprised at how quick the day get past you.
Absolutely.
You know, it's believe it or not, it's almost 12 now.
Yeah.
And we've been up here working since sunup just about. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. One of the things that I've seen, and you talked to me about this is consistency. People don't want to do the mundane, difficult, tedious, boring stuff, the day-to-day in and out, non-glamorous stuff. But that's the stuff that it takes. That's the grind right there. I mean, everybody wants six-pack abs, but don't nobody want to eat right, do sit-ups every day.
I know.
But
I'm one of those.
oh man, preach to the choir. But that's the grind. I mean, you got to do this. So you change that and you put the grind in. Just kind of talk to us about when you changed it. What was the things that you did just from a work perspective? You went from 2 hours. Did you jump to the 40 hours? Was it like instantaneously, or
No.
how did that work?
No. It was by necessity.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, when you have a house, when you have a family, I had a young family back then. You got to take care of business. By any means necessary. But I wasn't at the time. So again, it wasn't overnight. In fact, you know, I'm very transparent now. You've been knowing me for several years.
Right.
You know, I'm just very transparent at this point in my life. But you know, there is nothing that I hadn't gone through. There's nothing that I hadn't gone through. Now, I started in 94 selling life insurance. From 94 to 97, that's all I sold. In 97, I transitioned into the Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing I did.
Mm-hmm.
Best thing I did. And I was making really, at that point in my life, I figured it out. I figured it out. I still wasn't working the way I should, but you know, I figured things out to where I could make a decent income. And so I started making a decent income, but I still wasn't working again. I wasn't working the way I should have been working.
So at that point, you getting ready to start fighting that complacency enemy.
Bingo.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And then all of a sudden, in the early 2000, 2001, 2002, the contract that I had was snatched from under me.
Mm-hmm.
And all those residuals that I had disappeared overnight. Now, here's the thing. It was so bad that I went through bankruptcy. It was so terrible and bad that I came home one day and all my stuff was sitting on the curb.
Wow.
That's how bad it got. If I received a $25 check, it was as though I received a $50,000 check.
Mm-hmm.
That's how, or a $5,000 check. I mean, I was just struggling just to put gas in my car to get to the next appointment.
Mm-hmm.
All because I was so complacent because I was making good money and all that was pulled from under me all of a sudden. So when I hit rock bottom, that is what really woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really woke me up.
But it also could have deterred you and made you leave the industry and go do something else.
It could have.
So what made you stick with it? Because it seemed like you just got mad and said, you know what? I'm pushing forward. I'm still gonna do this. What?
Well, I knew I wasn't wired to be on nobody's clock.
Right.
I learned that at an early age. I love my freedom. So it was like the Rubicon bridge had been burned down. There was no going back. It was all straightforward.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but because I went through what I did and I was poor. I mean, I got to the point where I was poor. And I tell people this, there's a different mindset than being poor and being broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was broke, but I still didn't have a poor mindset.
Right.
But I didn't have the money.
So broke is just you ain't got money.
Yeah.
Poor is like
Temporary.
This is
Broke is temporary. Poor mindset is everlasting.
I like that.
Yeah. And so, because I didn't have a poor mindset, I was broke at the time. That propelled me because I was at a state that I never wanted to experience before. Never again in my life. I never wanted to go back to where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was fear. Fear is what motivated me more so to not go back to where I was than even success. I was motivated by fear rather than motivated by to have success.
I used to hear Kobe Bryant saying, Kobe Bryant, my favorite athlete. I wasn't a Lakers fan, he was great on the court, but I like Kobe Bryant because of the way he lived life. He hated losing more than he loved winning.
Absolutely.
And that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I felt. That's what I felt. And it's like, you're on this two-lane highway. One direction backward is poverty. The forward direction is success. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get so far away from poverty that it pushed me to success.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that was my motivation. It wasn't to be successful. It was just not to be poor anymore, or not to be broke anymore.
Oh, that's a heck of a motivator. Especially if you got dependent folks out here looking for you to do something. Yeah, I get that.
Let Brown say if you how he said, if you bills, if you up to debt in your eyeballs and bills, if that don't motivate you, what can?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people out there in their situation that use that as an excuse not to do this, or as an excuse. So just tell us about the type of person that really excels in this business. You kind of touched on it already, but what advice would you give the people out there that's in this situation, that's got bills, that don't feel like they can make, they were there? What would you tell them?
Good question. The first thing I would say is surround yourself with people that want better things in life. I think that Zig Ziglar once said that look at your closest companion, your closest friend, your closest 3 friends, and you'll see your future. Mm-hmm. So that'd be the first thing that I would do. Surround yourself with people that have the same ambition that you have. Mm-hmm. The next thing I was is tell a person is to be accept responsibility. Good or bad, accept responsibility. I always say, our life is like a movie. It's like a movie that's being played out. And the best thing about it is that, you're where you are because of the decision that you made. But you can change that overnight because, again, you're the actor, you're the writer, you're the producer. You can change the script anytime you get ready. So
you're the captain of your fate and the master of your soul.
There you go. So change that. Begin to accept responsibility. Begin to feed yourself positive things. Mm-hmm. Because, we should be thankful for what we already have. No doubt, we should be thankful. But are we willing to take it to the next step? You see, can God see something in us that we can handle, what He has in store for us? We can't do it at the current mindset. We have to do it,
Another thing about that, God has already given you the tools that you need to accomplish what you already see. He's giving you that vision. He's giving you the dream. You already got the tools.
Absolutely.
But you got to work on it. So.
Absolutely. I think Steve Harvey said once before that, we got these great imagination. We can just, and that's an ability. That's something that God have given us.
Exactly.
And so God would not give us something if it could not be brought to fruition.
Exactly.
If it could not become a reality one day. Mm-hmm. So again, going back, surround yourself with people that's ambitious like yourself, accept responsibility, and then work like stink. Mm-hmm. Find what you're passionate in. That's another thing. You got to be passionate what you're doing. You got to be passionate. There's no way in the world I could have been successful at that factory because I hated it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you got to be passionate as far as what you're doing. But work like stink, man. Just get out there and do it. I tell people that most of us, 3 to 5 years, we're going to be doing something anyway. Mm-hmm. Right? 3 to 5 years, you're going to be working somewhere anyway. Why not devote that 3 to 5 years to yourself?
Exactly.
Devote it to yourself and see where you are in 3 to 5 years. Now, in the insurance business, if you work with tenacity, if you work with like you 50, 60, 70 hours a week, I know what you will be in 3 to 5 years. But prove that to yourself. I'm gonna prove what he's saying is right. I'm gonna work like stink for 3 to 5 years and see where it gets.
You got to be willing to donate time, and that's the common thing that I see when I'm talking to agents. They don't want to. It's instant gratification. They need money like right now. They don't, and I get that. And they don't want to. When I tell them, hey, donate, go hard with this at least 2 to 3 years. You'll be surprised at how many times that phone conversation is a moment of silence for like 2 to 3 seconds right there. When I say, hey, you got to get out and self-generate. We can teach you that. You give it 3 good years, and I promise you, you put in the work, 3 good solid years, you'll look up and you'll be seeing the fruits of your labor. My mom used to tell me this almost every day growing up, because I was kind of hard-headed. Still am a little bit. But she always used to tell me, Chance, you're going to look up one day and you're going to say 1 or 2 things. I'm glad I did, or I wish I hadn't. And that's just stuck with me. So, and I don't know about nobody else out there, but from a personal standpoint, I wish I had a list is long enough. I don't need no more over there in that column. I'm trying to stack this. I'm glad I did this. So, with that being said, you have over 1,000 agents. You can stop right now if you want to, but you're still going and you still looking for agents. I'm building, I'm looking for agents, I'm under you. So you looking for people, I'm looking for people. Tell us who you're looking for as an agent and how we can help them.
That's another great question. Let me correct you on one thing.
All right.
Okay. I wouldn't say agent. I'm looking for, in associate you, business partners. I'm looking for people to go in business with me. Yeah. And as far as what I'm looking for people that have my mindset. You mentioned that I could stop. Yeah, technically I could stop, but again, I have a passion for this. And, I have set personal goals in my life as well. And I just love what I'm doing. I mean, at this point, I'm doing it for the next generation, to be honest with you. I'm doing it for my kids, of course, for my family, but even for like individuals like yourself. I see the metamorphosis effect of changes that you took in the last several years, and that's refreshing to see. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more child support porters. I'm looking for people that's going to take responsibility. I'm looking for people that no excuse. They don't even buy into that concept, and they're going to trainable. They're coachable. You can mold them, and they have a good attitude. Right. A pleasant attitude. Yeah. And people that have the entrepreneur spirit. And I think if you can package that attitude, work ethic, and being coachable. Work ethic and coachable. Attitude. 3 of the most important things. I don't know which one is most important. They all like right there. Yeah, they are. So yeah, because you can have the best work ethic in the world, but if your attitude is poor, that's not getting you anywhere. And you can be the smartest person in the world. And if you do not have a good work ethic, or if you're not a people person in this business right here, it's imperative to be you gotta love people, man. Exactly. You gotta love people. And you gotta wish the best for people. Right. One of our agents, a business partner, Pep Peppers, he got this saying. He said, if I can't get excited for you, who's gonna get excited for me? Exactly. Yeah. So I love seeing people. That's a good one. I like that. I like that. That's a good one. So how can we help somebody? Let's say, for instance, we get somebody in that's got all of those ingredients to make the best, let's just say, Asian cake in the world. How can we help that person now to get from here to here, or however he wants to go? You pour into them. You become their mentorship. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times agents get connected to agencies, and they're dealing with somebody that they don't own the company. They dealing with another manager or an employee of the company. And that employee can only do so much. The employee can only instruct or only direct. But mentorship is a different thing. So if somebody, for instance, somebody come to you, Chauncey, and associate with Port Insurance Professional, you become their mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you're easily accessible.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody needs to get you on the phone, they can pick up the phone, have your personal number, and get you on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in the area, I know you yourself, because I know you, I've been knowing you for quite some time, but you would personally do ride along with that person for as long as it take, to get that person going. And I'm sure you, as long as that person is coachable, you'll continue to do those things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so with me, I don't have the time because I have so many. The agency, I can't go out there on a regular basis doing personal ride along. But if you need to come into the office, if we need to have classroom settings, if we need to go product specific, I'm more than willing to do that.
But you're still available for that. And it
Absolutely.
comes back to that person, because I come into your office all the time and get you on the phone, hey man, I need to pick your brain on something.
Absolutely.
I need to know how to approach this right here. I mean, it's just accessibility.
And what I like about that attitude, I always tell people, Charles is like a pit bull. You're like a pit bull. When you get a hold of something, when you make your mind up, and when you get a hold of something, you won't let it go until it's accomplished. Mm-hmm. And I like that about you. You know, you'll call me 10 times back to back within an hour. But that showed me your commitment level, that you are all in. So again, that's coachable. And that's what Michael Jordan said about Kobe. He would call him 2 o'clock in the morning.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And so
he used to call him piss.
That's right. So you put me in that mindset, but that again, those are the type of people that we're looking for, because when you call me that way, and when you ask those questions, when you come into the office, that let me know you're serious. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a person that's really trying to take his business to the next level.
Yeah, I appreciate
That's
that.
what I'm looking for, and I'm sure
that's the same thing that we looking for.
Yeah.
So you guys, there you have it. If you didn't learn anything from that, honestly, this might not be the business that you need to be in. So I'm just gonna throw this out there as a challenge to you guys. Accountability. How are you thinking? What are you feeding yourself? Accountability. Your mind frame is everything. Everybody want to blame everybody for everything. We living in a finger pointing world, an instant gratification society right now. Take the time, evaluate yourself, write your goals down, figure out what it's going to take, where you want to be, and commit yourself to whatever that is you put down that you want to accomplish in this industry. My pastor told me a story about, it was a fable. I can't remember, I'm paraphrasing this now, so I might mess it up, but just bear with me. So this Indian guy was telling his son a story about 2 wolves. One was of the spirit, one was of the flesh. Both the wolves were the same size and the same strength, and they were fighting. And the little boy asked his dad, okay, well, which one of those wolves won the fight? And he said, the one you feed the most. So what you put in your mind is going to determine how far you take this. So accountability, I'm huge on accountability. There's this book by this Navy SEAL, Jocko Willink. It's called Extreme Accountability. I heard it's a great book. I haven't picked it up for myself just yet. I just heard about it not too long ago, but I know Jocko Willink has another book about leadership. That's a good one. Read some stuff. And if you're not big on reading, guess what? They got audio books. They got YouTube. Put positive stuff in front of you. Learn some stuff. Get off the BS that you're looking at and start feeding your mind with some positivity. Look at videos like this, with stuff that's instructing you. And that's how you grow. And again, just put in the work. Nothing happens. You don't get rich overnight. You don't get successful overnight. It just does not happen. You're going to have failures. You're going to have bumps in the road. There's no such thing as a businessman that hit it big overnight. If he did hit it big overnight, that's unsustainable success. It goes away and then you got to start over. So if you're out there, you're an independent agent or thinking about leaving the captive world and becoming an independent agent, it's work. You are running a business, whether you know it or not. You coming in independent, you running a business. That business is you. You got to make that work, and you got to put in the work. But we can help you. That's why we're here. Allen Associates is proven. He's phenomenal. I can help you as well. There's ways you can be successful. So again, do that for yourself. We're looking for agents, Porter Insurance Professionals. Click the link below. If you have any questions, reach out to myself. My phone number is 1-844-300-0011, porterinsuranceprofessionals.com. This video will be on my YouTube page. You're probably looking at it right now on my YouTube page. But take a look at it. Learn something from it. Allen and Associates. You'll be hard pressed to find better than what we're talking to right now. This man has been a mentor to me in this business for some years. Again, he has over 1,000 agents, and almost half of them are producers that he's mentored and built up. So mentorship is huge in this business. So a lot of you guys are missing that. I hear it every day when I'm talking to you. So again, click that link below. Porter Insurance Professionals. Eric, man.
Been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. Likewise, man. I thank you so much. I thank you for everything you've done for me and continue to do for me. And man, I'll see you around.
Let's do it again, man.
All right, man. Porter Insurance Professionals, Allen Associates.